Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining for the Brahma Samhita session today. We are on Brahma Samhita verse number 22 today. We just do a quick recap of what we've done so far. Quite a technical subject matter, so we will try to see how much we can understand, and then we also need to understand that there is a limitation to how much we can understand. So on that note, let us sing this beautiful song, Brahma Bole Chatur Mukhe, and then we'll try to understand the words of Brahma. Brahma Bole Chatur Mukhe, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Mahadeva Panchamuke, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Brahma Bole Chaturmukhe, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Mahadeva Panchamuke, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Brahma Bole Chaturmukhe, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Mahadeva Panchamuke, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhujatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Niti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dhaine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namosude Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvantaharine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauradushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Chetam Surado Pangor Mama Manda Mate Gati Matsarvasva Padam Bojau Shri Radha Madana Mohana Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratna Gara Simhasanastau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणोर्स्वनैर्गोपैः श्रीगोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं भंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in for the Brahma Samhita session. Let me share my screen and then we will revise what we heard yesterday. Then we'll go on to our today's verse. So today, yesterday we were supposed to see this verse number 21. Right? Anyone wants to share? You can raise your hands. Anyone wants to share? What did we discuss yesterday? This beautiful verse. It's in Sa Nityo Nitya Sambandha Prakritischa Paraivasa. Who wants to share? Can raise your hand. And because today you're going to continue from there. Right? These verses are all interrelated. So none of you all joined yesterday? Because I didn't join yesterday. I had to go out. So I don't know who would have joined. Anyone wants to share? What was the key takeaway point of yesterday's session? Yes. Raji Lakshmi Mataji, please go ahead.
No, Mataji, I had a question. I thought the classes are there only Monday to Friday, Mataji. I was not aware that Saturday, Sunday also we have classes.
Oh, sorry. The last class was on Friday. No, yesterday was Monday. Yesterday was Monday, Mataji. So yesterday's class.
I'm sorry, Mataji. My bad then.
Yeah, the classes are indeed from Monday to Friday only. Anyone else wants to share? Okay. So let's first understand verse number 21. Okay. So in verse number 21, Sa Nityo Nitya Sambandha Prakritischa Paraivasa. Sa Nityo Nitya Sambandha. Nitya Sambandha means we are going to have this eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Nitya Sambandha, eternal relationship. Prakritischa Paraivasa. Right? Prakriti means the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Para means the spiritual potency of the Lord. Right? So here we must have read the translation yesterday. So this is talking about the relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Jivas. What is the relationship? Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Ego Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Right? That means the Jiva is also Sat Chitan Ananda. Okay, Prashanti Mataji, you want to share something?
No, Mataji, yesterday I was not there in the class. I wanted to read.
Okay, fine. So we'll do it today. All right. Anyone else who was there in the class yesterday who wants to share anything, you can raise your hand. The rest of the devotees can lower your hands. Yeah. So we are quickly trying to recapitulate the previous verse because today's verse is a continuation of that. All right. So we are recapitulating that verse, which is saying, our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternal, right? It's eternal because we are Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. We are Amshas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, right? Mamaiva Amsha Jiva Loke. Right? All these Jivas are my Amshas. Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. They are all eternal. And I am also eternal. So they are all eternal. But what is the difference? Right? Prabhupada gives a very beautiful example of a fire and a spark of fire. Right? What is the essential quality of fire, which is to burn? right? Whether a child puts a hand in the fire or anybody puts a hand in the fire, the quality of fire is to burn, right? Similarly, a spark of the fire also has the same quality of the fire, but it does not burn the finger. Why? Because the spark is not equal to the fire in quantity. It has got the same characteristic of fire. Now it may burn maybe one drop. It will just create a drop, right? In the hand when you touch, say, we do this sparkles, for Diwali. That drop, that it's got fire in it. It's got one spark in it. If you touch that in the hand, there will be one spot, which may become pus and then become big. That's a different thing. But what is the damage that is caused by a spark? It is just a dot. One dot, it gets burnt in the hand. But what if you put your hand in the fire? The whole hand gets burnt out, isn't it? So we are equal to the Lord in terms of our quality. What is our quality? Sat, Chit and Ananda. Just like the fire spark has the same quality of burning, right? Whatever comes in contact with it. But in terms of quantity or in terms of effect of damage that is caused by a spark, is very minuscule as compared to the damage that might be caused by a fire, right? So that is what is explained here, that while the living entities are also Sat, Chit and Ananda. That means the living entity is also eternal, blissful, and is also knowledgeable. However, the living entity is not unlimitedly blissful or in full knowledge, because so many things we don't know, right? And sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we are in so much misery. And eternal, right? The soul is eternal. However, we are put into this material body. Sat, Chit and Ananda, we are infinitesimal. We have the same quality. That there is no death, right? Na jayate mriyate va kadachan, nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha, ajo nitya shashvato yam purano, na hanyate hanya mane sharire. So we are, the soul is enclosed in this body. While the body is subject to death, the soul is not subject to death. So we are Sat, Chit and Ananda, just like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's also Sat, Chit and Ananda. That is what is mentioned in this verse. But we are infinitesimal. The Lord is infinite, whereas we are infinitesimal. Right? Prabhupada also gives the example of a drop of ocean, a drop of water and the entire ocean. Right? The essential characteristic is the salt. Right? So ocean water is salty. Even if you take one drop from the ocean water, it is also going to be faulty. However, there is a difference in quantity between one drop and the vast ocean. Right? And then Prabhupada goes ahead in the purport. Prabhupada talks about the Tata Asta Shakti. Right? We are the Tata Asta Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is Tata? Right? Tata, Prabhupada explains, is like the bank of an ocean. Sometimes it is wet, sometimes it is dry. Similarly, we are also energy of the Lord. We form the Tatastha energy of the Lord, or the marginal energy of the Lord. So we sway towards the spiritual potency of the Lord or the inferior potency of the Lord. The more we are in the association of devotees, then we will be inclined to serve the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. That means we engage in devotional service. But when we don't associate ourselves with the devotees, we associate ourselves, right? We are said to be an average of the 5 people whom we spend our time with. If you're going to spend time with people who indulge in sense gratification, then automatically, we being the Tatastha Shakti of the Lord, we will gravitate or we will tilt towards sense gratification. Right? So that is what is explained by Prabhupada, that we are the marginal energy of the Lord. So we can be aligned in either ways. And then Prabhupada is talking about Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva. What is this Achintya Abheda Bheda Tattva? That is what we explained, right? That between a spark of fire and a fire, or a drop of ocean and the ocean. There is Achintya, inconceivable. How can something be same and different, right? In this material world, and when we say something is similar, that means they look identical or they have the same function. Whereas something is different means they look different, they have different functions, etc. But in the supreme creation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord has created us amshas, but we are at the same time equal to the Lord. At the same time, we are not equal to the Lord. We are equal to the Lord in terms of quality, in terms of Sat Chit Ananda, and we are non-different in terms of quantity of Sat Chit and Ananda. Right? The quality of Sat Chit and Ananda we are same. and the quantity of Satchitananda, we are different, right? So why is this achintya Veda? Achintya means we don't have an experience of this in this material world, right? So that is why it is achintya. Abeda, Veda. Abeda means non-different, and Veda means different, right? Simultaneous, oneness and difference. That is what we would have discussed yesterday. And then finally, how do we always stay serving the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord? Krishna himself tells a formula in Bhagavad Gita. What does he say? Daivi hayesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Right? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Krishna tells it's very, very difficult to overcome my material nature. Why? Because it is my Shakti. No, it is my Bahiranga Shakti. It's very, very difficult to overcome the three modes of material nature. But Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So Krishna gives a formula how we can transcend the three modes of material nature. Mameva ye prapadyante. That is a formula. If you surrender unto me, then you'll be able to cross over the three modes of material existence. Right? And I had noted a couple of other things which are necessary for us to transcend the three modes of material nature. One is, of course, surrender to the Lord. Second is Bhakta Pada Dhuliyara Bhakta Pada Jala Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha Tina Mahabala. Right? If you are always in the association of devotees who are pure devotees of the Lord, if we take the dust from their lotus feet, if we take the water that has washed their lotus feet, and Bhakti Bhukta Avashesha, that means if you also get the opportunity to take their remnants, in this way, we will be able to acquire the qualities that they have developed, right? When a person is very humble, right? When we serve that person and please that person, that when that person blesses us, then we will get the qualities of that person. Similarly, it also works the opposite way. I was hearing a lecture wherein it was said that when we gossip about somebody, oh, that person is like this, he's got so much of anarthas, then when we talk about the anarthas, then we are offending that person. Then what happens? That person's karma we will be taking. Whatever offenses that person is committing because of those bad qualities, by talking about that, we will take a part of all those offenses, and also we will develop those bad qualities in us. That is why very important when we think, what am I going to speak? The 3-test filter rule, right? Somebody was saying, is it the truth? Is it beneficial? And is it hita? Right? Is it beneficial for that other person? And am I talking it in a pleasing way? And do I have the authority to sway it? Right? If I'm not the spiritual master, if I'm not the spiritual counselor, if I'm not been appointed by my authority as the advisor or not help person in spiritual life, I have no business to talk about another person's limitations, right? So once Prabhupada was saying, when a devotee told Prabhupada, right, why, how should I tolerate this person? This person has got so much of anarthas. Prabhupada said, like I am tolerating you, you tolerate others, right? This was a leader, right, whom Prabhupada told. Otherwise, if you are not a leader, we don't talk about the qualities or good or bad qualities of others, right? We can always appreciate the good qualities of others, right? And Jiva Goswami comments in this particular verse. Jiva Goswami is talking about the 2 birds sitting in the same tree, right? Talking about the individual soul as well as the super soul, right? Jiva Goswami talks about 2 birds in the same tree. One bird is trying to enjoy the fruits. The other bird is simply witnessing. The individual soul is spiritual and conscious. It also lives in the spiritual and the material worlds, but it is contaminated because individual soul wants to enjoy, right? That's what Jiva Goswami talks about it. And Jiva Goswami is also mentioning about Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Eternal relationship between the Lord and the soul is also seen in the Svetasvatara Upanishad and the Mundaka Upanishad. In this way, Jiva Goswami is explaining the concept of 2 birds that are sitting, the Svetasvatara Upanishad and Mundaka Upanishad. So this was the sum and substance of yesterday's verse. Right? Anyone has any question about yesterday's verse? It's purely talking about the sambandha between the Supreme Lord and the Jiva. Now, how the living entity is minuscule and how the Supreme Lord is infinite. If there are no questions, we can go on to our today's verse. Anyone has any questions? Okay, excellent. So who can summarize? Prashanti Mataji, I see your hand raised. Would you like to summarize in probably 1 or 2 sentences? The previous verse, 5.21. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Yes, Mataji.
So it is talking about the sambandha that we are very minute and the Lord is very large scale, Mataji. So that's what I understood mainly, Mataji.
Correct. So that is the main point, right? The Jiva is eternal, and for eternity without a beginning is joined. Sorry, 1 second. This is today's verse. Kahan gayi main? Yeah, this verse. This is talking about the Nitya Sambandha, right? What is the Nitya Sambandha between the Lord and the Jivas? It is the Achintya Abheda Tattva. We are all Amshas of the Lord. We are equal to the Lord in quality but different in quantity. All right. Thank you, Mataji, for that. Saraswati Mataji, do you want to add any purport to it?
No, Mataji, same thing I wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Audible,
Okay.
Okay, same thing I wanted to tell.
Yeah, correct.
Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. What I understood is the Lord is eternal and we are also eternal. And He is the living entity and we are also living entity. But He is the maintainer and we are maintained. So
Perfect.
that is
Yes.
and you also
Perfect.
it's very difficult to overcome this external energy because it is the Lord's energy. But when we surrender to Him, we can overcome it. That's what I understood, Mataji. Thank you.
Perfect. Very, very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And one more thing, what we saw is the Tatastha Shakti, right? We are like the marginal energy, so we can sway to both sides. But depending on what association we take, accordingly we will make the choice whether to serve the Maya Shakti of the Lord or the spiritual Shakti of the Lord. So that's how Prabhupada ends the purport. Right? Prabhupada says, as long as one remains submissive to Krishna, the Lord of Maya, he is not liable to the influence of Maya. The worldly afflictions, births and rebirths are the concomitants of the fettered condition of souls fallen into the clutches of the deluding potency from a time that has no beginning. Right? We don't know when all of this started. Somehow or the other, we had to decide to enjoy independently. The Lord has given us this facility and we are all here in this material world. And now we have to utilize that opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's what it is. All right. Now let's go to text number 22. Let's read the verse. Text number 22. Devotees can raise their hands. Yeah, I can see Prashanti Mataji's hand up. I don't know whether it is for reading or it is just continuing from this.
Reading only, Mataji.
Okay. Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Chaturvedi chaturmukaha.
Chaturvedi chaturmukaha. Thank you, Mataji.
Nankishwari Mataji, you can read. Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Chaturvedi chaturmukaha.
Chaturvedi chaturmukhaha. Thank you,
Okay.
Mataji.
Milli Mataji, please go ahead. Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Evam sarvatma sambandham.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Nabhyam padmam harerabhut.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Tatra Brahma bhavad bhuyash.
Chaturvedi chaturmukaha.
Chaturvedi chaturmukhaha.
Thank you, Mataji. Nidhi Mataji, would you like to read the synonyms?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Evam, thus, Sarva Atma with all souls, Sambandham, related, Nabhyam from the navel, Nabhyam from the navel, Padmam, a lotus, Harer of Vishnu, Abhyut sprung up, Tatra there, Brahma, Abhavat was born, Bhuya again. Next is
Chaturvedi.
Chaturvedi, versed in the four Vedas. Chaturmukha, four-faced. Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Dandavats. Okay, Gayatri Mataji, please read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The divine lotus which springs from the navel pit of Vishnu is in every way related by the spiritual tie with all souls and is the origin of four-faced Brahma versed in the four Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the divine lotus, we all know, right? We've been seeing in the last couple of sessions how there is a from the Nabhi of Garbhodakasha Vishnu, there is a stem which grows, and on top of the stem there is a beautiful lotus. Brahma finds himself there, and Brahma does not know what to do, right? So we know that Brahma is Swayambhu. Why you call Swayambhu means he was directly born from the navel of Lord Vishnu, and he's sitting on the lotus. Right, and also here two different names are given of Brahma. Right, what are the two different names? One is Chaturmukha. Why? Because he's got four faces. Right, and Chaturvedi. Chaturvedi means he knows all the four Vedas. That means here again you're talking about Brahma and the Supreme Lord. Right, Brahma is infinitesimal. Right, although Brahma is a perfected human being who is administered with the power to subcreate or do subcreation or Visharga, you should still understand here from the previous verse that Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunamyo Vidadati Kaman. So here the maintainer is Vishnu and the infinitesimal person is Brahma. Although Brahma is so much powerful, he's been given the power by Lord Vishnu to create this material world, still Brahma is also infinitesimal as compared to Lord Vishnu or compared to Lord Krishna. That is what we need to understand. That is why this particular verse, although Brahma is like, even in Bhagavatam, Narada Muni asks Brahma, oh Brahma, I don't hear of anybody else, right? It seems that you are the creator and you are the Supreme Lord. And then Brahma says, no, I am not the Supreme Lord. It is Lord Vishnu who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am just an administrator of this universe. I'm just a sub-creator of this universe. Right? So that this verse springs from the previous verse, wherein this Brahma is actually created from the navel of Lord Vishnu, and this Brahma has got four faces, and he is well versed in the four Vedas. He's not yet well versed in the four Vedas actually. Right? Now we will be seeing how he was in total ignorance, right? Because he's seeing all darkness everywhere. He does not know what to do. This is the way Brahma actually spends every morning, right? I was hearing in a class, this is what he was saying, how every day morning during Brahma Muhurta time, we have the fortune of interacting personally with the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna. Poor Brahma, what does he have to do? Every day morning during Brahma Muhurta time, he has to create, isn't it? Every day this the pralaya happens, right? At the night of Brahma time also there is a pralaya that happens. So every next day, actually Brahma is recreating the entire universe. So this is the job profile of Brahma. And while we should understand that Brahma is also an infinitesimal portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, but he has perfected his life and then he's got this post of sub-creation. All right. So now let's go on to the purport. Anyone wants to read? Yeah, Shobha Mataji, go ahead with the purport.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The same divine lotus originating from the
by His divine grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. But we are depending on our Srila Prabhupada to understand this wonderful scholarly purport of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So His divine grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. The same divine lotus originating from the divine person entered into the hidden recess is the superior plane of aggregation of all individual souls. The four-faced Brahma, the image of self-enjoyment, derives his origin from the prototype Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, the mundane seminal principle who regards the aggregate of all mundane entities as his own proper body. The delegated godship of Brahma as well as his being the dislocated portion of Krishna, are also established. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Right? We can see the scholarly purport of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So what I did is, I was just referring to certain verses written by our Srila Prabhupada purports, because that is our only shelter. Not much of this we are able to understand. So let us look at some of the verses of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which has the purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And in this way, we will try to understand what we can understand from this verse. Right? Very simply, we understand that Brahma is now created from the Nabi of Lord Vishnu. Right? So let me share my screen. Okay. So, let me, before that, I'll just quickly tell you about, we can have somebody read this. Who wants to read? Okay. I cannot see any hand up. So it's okay. So then let me, Nidhi Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji, I can't see the screen for now. Okay.
This is Jiva Goswami's commentary to this particular verse. And then we'll try to see how it is, how can we elaborate on this. Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Because he enters the cave, that is the material universe, the Lord becomes the ruler of the individual spirit souls there. And because he is the supreme master and enjoyer, he approaches them. That is explained in this verse as Hiranyagarbha Brahma, the universal form, the supreme Lord becomes the entire universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. So here, Jiva Goswami, what he's saying is, the Lord has entered this material world, right? He enters the cave that is the material universe. How does he enter? He enters as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Karnadakashaya Vishnu, and Shirodakashaya Vishnu. And before that, how does he create this Pradhana? We know how the Pradhana is always existing. The time factor and the Jivas are injected. And then when the time factor induces itself, then with the Kala Chakra, then what happens? The entire thing gets activated. Otherwise, it is Mahatattva. Right? Once it gets activated, then the Lord actually comes inside into this universe as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and then Brahma appears, and then Shirodakashaya Vishnu, he is also situated in everybody's heart. So here, Jiva Goswami, what is he saying? He is the supreme master and enjoyer. However, since he enters this material universe, he is the master of all the individual spirit souls. Right? Why are we all in this material world? Because of our desire to enjoy independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? In this verse, it is mentioned, although we try to become independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can never be independent because the Lord enters this material universe and he becomes the ruler of the individual spirit souls because he is the Supreme Master and he is the Supreme Enjoyer. That is explained in this verse. And also, there is this word called Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Right? Hiranyagarbha Brahma is referring to Brahma, who is actually emanating from the Nabi of Lord Vishnu. And also, another meaning or illustration that's given here by Jiva Goswami is that Hiranyagarbha Brahma also refers to this material universe. The entire material universe, which has been created by the glance of Lord Vishnu through Shambhu on the Mahapradhana, the Pradhana or Prakriti. And in this way, this entire material universe has been created. The source of that material universe is Hiranyagarbha Brahma, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because this entire material universe has been created by the glance of Mahavishnu or glance of Lord Shri Krishna. Like that. All right. So let's read some verses from the Bhagavad Gita, wherein very beautifully it is explained how Brahma also creates every day, and also who is the original source and why does this material world get created again and again. Right? So Brahma, Bhagavad Gita 9.7. Krishnamurti Prabhu, you can read Bhagavad Gita 9.7. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya. Prakritim
Yanti Mamikam.
Prakritim Yanti Mamikam.
Kalpakshaye punasthani.
Kalpakshaye punasthani.
Kalpado visrujamyaham.
Kalpado visrujamyaham.
Yeah, you can read translation.
Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Shall I read purport, Mataji?
Yes.
Purport by Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. At the end of the millennium means at the death of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years and his one day is calculated as 43 lakhs of our earthly years. His night is of the same duration. His month consists of 30 such days and nights, and this year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation or annihilation takes place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again wound up in himself. Then again, when there is a need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by his will, Bahu Sham. Although I am one, I shall become many. This is the Vedic aphorism. Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.3. He explains himself in this material energy and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All right. So here we see how Brahma's lifespan is very, very long, right? But there's still infinitesimal when it actually when we actually compare it with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Because Brahma also has to die. Because Brahma also has a body. So Brahma also has to die, right? That's one. Secondly, here what is mentioned here, Bahusham. That means everything is done by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when the Lord wills, that is when the Pradhana gets activated. And when the Pradhana gets activated by the Lord's glance, then the Jivas and the Kala Shakti actually enter into this Mahatattva, and then it all gets activated. And then the three modes of material nature gets created. Then Bhumi Rapo, Nalo Vayu, Kam Mano Buddhi Revacha, all that gets created. And then Brahma undergoes that tapa. That tapa thing happens at the end of this, right? When he comes out, he cannot see anything. Everything is in complete ignorance. And then hears this word tapa, tapa, tapa. When he hears the word tapa, he goes into austerity for thousands of years. And then he is given the knowledge by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. And in this way, he is able to create the living entities. And how the living entities are created? According to their previous guna and karma. However, whatever consciousness they had, which have taken over through the subtle body, which is the mind, intelligence, and false ego. Accordingly, a person gets into the womb of a mother, like that. All right. So now let's read the next verse. Anyone else wants to read? Or I'll only read quickly. Right? So, okay. Oh, not this one. One second. So yeah, we're reading from the Word document. Yeah. Prakritim swam avastabhya visrujami punaha punaha bhuta. Okay. Now Kishori Mataji, go ahead. Prakritim swam avastabhya visrujami punaha punaha.
Prakritim swam avastabhya visarjami punah punah.
Bhutagramam imam krishnam avasham prakriter vishat.
Bhutagramam imam krishnam avasam prakriter vasata. Mataji,
Yeah.
can I read translation?
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The whole cosmic order is under me, under my will. It is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is inherited at the end. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Swati Mataji, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Not able to see the screen, Mataji. It is still showing sharing.
You're not able to see?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Nidhi Mataji, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please read.
Yeah. This material world is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahatattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes, and onto each universe the Lord again enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Each universe is in this way created. He still further manifests himself as Shirodakshai Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment the creation of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created, because whatever desires the living entities had at the last annihilations are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasam that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life, in the past creation, is simply manifested again, and all this is done simply by his will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and after creating different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved with it. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Right, Jalaja Navalakshani, Stavara Lakshapimshati, Kramayo Rudra Sankyakaha, Pakshinam Dashalakshanam. Right, so the various 8.4 million species breakup is given. Jalaja Navalakshana, 9 lakhs of aquatic species and all that. So how does all of these come into existence? All these come into existence because of what is that? Trimshal Lakshani Pashavaha, Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. That's how the verse ends. Right? Trimshal Lakshani Pashavaha. That means the 30 lakhs of Pashavaha, 4-legged animals, and Chatur Lakshani Manushaha, 4 lakh species of human beings. Right? If you add everything, it will come to 84 lakh species. Right? So how do these 84 lakh species manifest? It's not that there's a Darwin theory of evolution. He said that a blast happened and then one evolves, right? Monkey, into chimpanzee and then to man, like that. No, it doesn't happen, because in Vedic scriptures it is said that all the different types of species, 8.4 million species, are all existent all the time. According to the guna and karma, one is actually entering into the womb of a mother. Now, who will give a body which will help that particular soul to satisfy the desires that the soul has acquired or has developed through the subtle body. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning very beautifully that the individual has no choice in this. Right? Everything happens by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And once a time when the jiva are injected into this material nature, then this the pradhana, it gets activated and the jivas are created according to their own past desires and activities, like that. All right. So now let's read the next verse. Maya Dakshena Prakritihi. Who's this? Swati Mataji, now you're able to see. Please read. Maya Dakshena Prakritihi.
Maya Dakshena Prakriti.
Suyate Sacharacharam.
Suyate Sacharacharam.
Itunanena Kaunteya.
Itunanena Kaunteya.
Jagat Viparivartate.
Jagat Viparivartate. Should I read translation?
Yeah.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. This material nature, which is some of my energy, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Purport.
Purport, Nandini Mataji can read.
Okay.
It is clearly stated here. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes, Mataji, unmute yourself. Haribol.
Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
It is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme will and the background of his material manifestation. But the management is being conducted by the material nature. So scroll up, Mataji. Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita that all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the father. The father gives seeds to the womb of the mother for the child. And similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his mere glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of the material nature, and they come out in different forms and species according to the last desires and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over the material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everyone is created immediately. Because he glances
Because he glances over the material nature.
There is undoubtedly activity on the part of Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person, yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with the material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead cannot do anything, yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So this is what we discussed, right? So the jada or the material nature has nothing to do. And even the Tatastha Shakti, etc. also, they have nothing to do with the creation or how this entire process works. Even Brahma has nothing to do. It happens by the will of the Lord, and the Lord tells Brahma how he should execute it. And that's how Brahma creates the sub-creation. All right. So we will just conclude with this verse. And this talks about how the will of the Lord, how the Lord is Swarat, and by his will, the entire creation takes place. So I will ask Radhika Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarataschatteshva bhijñaswarat.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya yatonvayaditaratas chatvesha vijñaswarat.
Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayaha.
Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayaha.
Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha.
Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha.
Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Dhamna Seva Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm not able to get your tune.
No, that's okay, Mataji. I mean, I'm also telling meter. It's no authorized meter for this. There must be, even I don't. So we are just trying to read our best like that. Mili Mataji, please read the translation.
Mataji, can I please recite the shloka as I've learned it?
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas charteshva bhijñaswarat. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayaha. Tejo Vari Mridan Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is the independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I, therefore, meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So, in this verse, what is given here? He imparted the knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being, and by whom everybody is put into illusion. Right? Initially, we see even Brahma was an illusion. Brahma did not know what to do, what not to do. That is the state when we are in illusion, right? We don't know what is right, what is not right. We don't know what to do, what not to do, right? But until such time, Brahma also was an illusion. But when the transcendental knowledge was revealed in the heart of Brahma, even then, all of the other demigods, they were still under illusion. Now, because this happens only with the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will we be able to understand this transcendental science, right? What we are studying now in the initial sections of Bhagavad Gita is the greatness of Lord Krishna. How by his own will, how by his glance, he is able to create the entire material cosmos. He is able to inject the time factor, he is able to inject the Jiva Tattvas according to their previous karmas and activities and desires. Right? How the Supreme Lord by his own will is able to manifest his entire universe. Talking about the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? In every verse, that is what is explained by Brahma. That Supreme Personality of Godhead who's in charge, who's the creator, the maintainer, as well as the annihilator, right? Even in the Bhagavatam, we see this verse, right? Chaturshloki Bhagavatam is there. Aham eva sameva agre na anyad yat sadasat param paschadaham yadi tachya yo vasishyeta sosmyam. Right? So Krishna is saying, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who existed before creation, during creation, and after creation. Right? I will remain the Supreme Personality of Godhead before creation, during creation, as well as after creation. Right? The first Chaturshloki verse of Bhagavatam. Very beautiful. If you study, because those are the 4 verses that actually Krishna is actually telling our Brahmaji. And then Brahma is elaborating to the entire Bhagavatam. Right? So from there also we understand that how Brahma is getting all the knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. And this Brahma actually emanates from the navel of Lord Vishnu according to the desire of Lord Vishnu. And then he like just like Krishna wants to give credit to Arjuna to actually having killed the entire Guru dynasty. Similarly, Lord Krishna wants to give credit to Brahma, that Brahma has created all of these material universes, right? He has created the although the initial elements were provided by Vishnu or Krishna, earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? The rest of the combination of the elements were all produced by Brahma as part of subcreation. So in this way, this talks about the glory of Lord Vishnu, how by the will of Lord Vishnu, everything happens, everything is maintained, everything is annihilated, everything is created. And Brahma becomes an instrument in the hands of Lord Vishnu to fulfill the desire of Lord Vishnu or fulfill the desire of Lord Krishna. So that is the sum and substance of our today's verse. If anyone has any questions, you may raise your hands. Otherwise, we will end the session now. We are almost we have 5 minutes. Yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you for your patient hearing. A very, very technical subject matter. We can depend on the Lord to, Swayam Eva Suratyadaha. Right? Please reveal yourself to us so that we can understand like that. Yes, Radhika Mataji, everyone can unmute themselves now. So we have about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we will end the session. Yes, Radhika Mataji, anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji, the Chatur Shlokam Bhagavat, you just chanted, right? That and our Chatur Shloka Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, are they similar?
Yeah, see, in Bhagavad Gita also, what Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, Mattas Sarvam Pravartate, Iti Matva Bhajante Ma, Buddha Bhava Samanvidaha. Right? There also he tells that everything emanates from me. I am the cause of all causes. And the essential content is the same. Here, what is he saying? Aham eva sameva agre na anyat sadasat param. Tasmat aham yadetacha yo avasishyeta sosmyam. I was existing before creation. I only created everything. I'm only existing after the creation. So typically, it gives the same message. Right, that I am all that is, I am the source of everything. So it basically establishes our sambandha with the Supreme Lord.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Nidhi Mataji, anything?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Mataji, actually, I wanted to know, since first time we are reading this and all, it's too overwhelming, how to approach it slowly, because the information is too much. It has to sink, and more than that, it is superficial for now, because we are not that aware, and you're reading from various texts and various places, and also how to approach this all, Mataji, slowly, gradually. How do we enhance our selves on the path towards devotion?
That's what. Basically, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to establish our sambandha with the Lord. We are trying to understand the greatness of the Lord, right? And that is what is given in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the scriptures, right? Especially the Chatur Shloki of both the verses, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Essentially, everything happens with the will of the Lord. Not even a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. So it is by the creation of the material world also happens by the sanction of the Lord only. And even Brahma, who is the supreme, who's perfected his life, right? Brahma has actually got 80
Mataji,
qualities.
I missed all because you were not audible. I'm
not audible. Am I not audible?
No, Mataji, you're very
Mataji,
No,
loud.
Mataji,
can
you
hear
will
you.
be audible even without mic. 100% clear. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. We can hear you nicely.
I was just wondering, I cannot move. I'm not audible. Matlab pura 1 ghanta ka. At least, okay, last 5 minutes maybe I was not audible. But even I was audible even in the last 2-3 minutes, right?
No, audible, Mataji. Pakka. Hare Krishna.
Okay, you were audible the whole class, overall the session. Mataji.
All right. Okay. So Nidhi Mataji, I think you need to check your audio settings. You gave me a little bit of
Mataji.
Okay. Now you could hear this. Yeah. So I was just saying that, we need to understand that the Lord is great. By his will, everything is happening. Everything, the creation, the maintenance, annihilation, everything is happening by the will of the Lord. So what we are trying to understand here is the details, right? Which we will get to understand. The more we are surrendered to the Lord will reveal the knowledge in our heart. Right? As of now, why are we reading this? As long as we are convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is creating everything, and Brahma is a sub-creator, right? Who is acting according to the will of the Lord. Right? Just like a student who's very bright, who's very supportive, the teacher makes him the leader of the class, right? So, you write on the board, you get the notebook from the staff room, you read it out to the children, like that. So like that, Brahma, who's a perfected human being, he is being given additional tasks by the Lord to carry out his will. That's what we need to understand. Is it okay?
Yes, Mataji, but again, how to approach? Should we read first Brahma Samhita and crossover check with other?
So I asked Radhishan Prabhu, when should we read Brahma Samhita? Because we are having a group where we are reading Prabhupada's books. So I was asking, because in that list, Brahma Samhita was not there. So I asked Radhishan Prabhu. He told that once you finish all of the small books of Prabhupada, then you can go to Brahma Samhita. That means before Bhagavad Gita also you can go to Brahma Samhita. But then you need to have the basic knowledge of Brahma Samhita before you actually Bhagavad Gita before you go on to Brahma Samhita. Right? Because it's a basic song of God, and the Chatur Shloki, Bhagavad Gita and all these verses help to understand the greatness of the Lord. And before we embark into the details of how this creation happens, which is in Brahma Samhita. Yeah? Is it okay?
So yes, Mataji. Yes, now it is clear, Mataji. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj ki Brahma Samhita ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Pancha Kalpatharubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरुदेव की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।